Hey everybody, Sharon here from VidGamiac.com. Here we are today back in Memories of Mars, going for the Heavy Metal Meltdown achievement. This is to kill a Juggernaut. The Juggernaut is going to refer to the Behemoth, who's going to be a boss character found in the Haas crater in the bottom right of the map. I am going to recommend that you try to bring some help for this one. The recommended amount of people that you want to take into a fight is going to be 3 or more. You can do this with fewer, but do be prepared to have the fight go longer the less amount of people that you have. You also want to make sure everyone is properly prepared, so make sure you have everyone have about 3 assault rifles, as it is going to be very draining on the weapon's durability since the fight takes so long. Also make sure everyone has the right amount of healing, food, and oxygen items so we can get through the long slog that is this fight. The fight itself is going to be pretty simple when it comes to strategy, however it is going to be more of an endurance thing. Basically, the crater of the boss is going to be surrounded by these rocks. You are going to have everyone pick a rock and then just stay in cover behind the rock the whole time, and we're just going to poke our head out from the sides and then shoot the boss while crouched. No one's going to want to run in front of the rock out of cover, and then everyone should be relatively safe. You might have to have people move from rock to move cover as the boss is going to be advancing, but that's going to be pretty much it for movement. Once you are ready to start the boss fight, someone's going to run out and then attack the boss and then immediately get back to cover, and then everyone's going to start picking their shots. Now, when it comes to shooting the boss, you're going to have the 5 weak points that are going to deal damage. You're going to have his face, the middle part of the body that connects the torso to the legs, and then the joints of the legs where the knees are. You know you are shooting in the right place when your crosshair turns red. You're going to want to shoot in those spots and only those spots. So the best part about doing this in a group is the boss is only going to be able to aggro on a single person at a time, so everyone else is going to want to take this time to pick the boss off from the sides, and the other person who is going to be chased by him is going to want to stay in cover. As for the boss's attacks coming your way, you're going to have its normal machine gun fire, which is going to be very easily dodgeable as long as you stay behind cover. Then you're going to have his rockets, which is also going to be very easily dodgeable just by staying in cover. And then you're going to have its 2 big damage dealing moves. The first one is going to be its missile shot. This one's always going to take you down to low health from a full health bar. So this one is going to deal a ton of damage. However, it is going to be easily telegraphed as the boss is always going to squat before doing it. So if you notice that animation, make sure you try to get to a safe spot. As for its last attack, this one is only going to really affect the person that the boss is currently aggroing on. You are going to basically have the boss approach whatever rock that person is going to be taking cover under. If the boss gets too close, it's going to do its squash, which is always going to kill anyone who comes in contact with it. So once the boss gets too close for comfort, even if you are behind cover, you're going to want to bail on that rock and then move on to the next one. Now again, the boss fight is going to be very long, so hopefully you did bring enough supplies to last you the fight. It's going to be so long that hopefully you brought more than 1 gun with you, as your first gun is definitely going to wear down through weapon degradation, so make sure you keep that in mind. You are also going to need food and oxygen to sustain yourself, as you are probably going to have your nutrition and oxygen bars dip down, and the nearest oxygen tank is going to be super duper far away. Now you can set up a base on the outside of the crater and then set up a cloning chamber there, which is going to allow you to get infinite respawns. Thankfully, the boss isn't going to have its health be recovered if you leave the area, so you can keep working on it little by little, even if you are dying quite frequently. Now, thankfully for our sake, the fight itself is going to be divided into 3 phases, each of which are going to have their own signifiers. So you are done with the first phase of the fight once the boss starts sparking under its face. That's going to be the first indicator that you are making progress in terms of damage. Nothing is going to change in this stage, so just make sure you keep the firepower up and make sure you are keeping an eye out on your supplies. If you're doing this with multiple people, you can have one person pull out of the crater and then do a quick supply run, so hopefully you have that to take advantage of. So once you wrap up that phase, you're going to begin the 3rd and final phase, which is going to be signified by the boss smoking from its middle. So once you notice that heavy plume of black smoke, you're going to be in the last phase of the fight, which is going to be the longest in terms of the boss's health bar. The boss is also going to gain a new attack in the form of this missile storm. It's going to shoot a bunch of missiles up in the sky, which are going to do an area of effect worth of damage. This one isn't going to be too big of a deal since it's only going to hit really close to the boss. So unless the boss is going to be right next to you, you shouldn't worry too much. So don't worry about running away from this or anything. Running out of cover is probably going to do more damage to you in the long run than just playing it safe. So make sure you do keep this in mind and just stay behind those rocks and keep picking your shots from far away, and you should be able to whittle it down. So when it comes to who is going to be getting the credit for the achievement, this is going to be the way it works. Normally, if you are doing this with a bunch of strangers, the person who lands the last hit on the boss is going to get the achievement. Whoever deals the most damage to the boss is going to be the one who is able to loot it, but that's not going to matter for our sake. If you are doing this in an alliance, everyone who is in the alliance and also in the area of the fight should get credit for the achievement. So make sure you set that up if you are doing this with friends. Make sure everyone's in the same alliance, even if it is going to be temporary, so everyone can get credit for the fight, and no one has to worry about being the one to get the finishing blow. If you really want to, you can always just set up a respawn point outside of the crater and then just chip away at the boss little by little. But you're probably looking at about 40 minutes to an hour if you are doing this by yourself or with one other person. If you're doing this in a group of 3 or more, you're probably looking at about 20 minutes to a half hour to get this done. So make sure you plan appropriately. But nonetheless, once you are able to finish this thing off, you should be good for your achievement. There it is. This one's going to be worth 30 gamer score. And that's all there is to it.